Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Tazman's AI Dungeon. And this week we're back to normal. Sorry about last week. I felt it needed to be said. Um, but anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. Actually, I forgot to do one little thing. Just make sure I have all my comments. I don't remember getting any comments, but let me just double check and make sure that's fact. Yes, no comments on these videos so far. So I was thinking uh, last week, if you remember, if you watched, I showed you my other account, my one that's actually paid, and I scrolled down and I was showing you all the different scenarios that I have loaded up to look at and test and look at things. And some of them I might have chose that scenario specifically because they said they implemented some kind of script or something, and I wanted to see how that worked. And others I kind of like to see how they handle different things. What they set for the author's note, what they set for AI instructions, what they do for the plot essentials and story cards and all that stuff. So one thing I started noticing as I was looking through all these different ones, and I've actually noticed it for a while, was different ways that people are portraying information that they want. And I was wondering, I think I mentioned this really early on, um, about how I'm not exactly sure if the AI cares about certain formats and stuff. But then I decided, well, you know what? Let's do a test. And what I did, I haven't actually looked at any of the results. I did that on purpose. I didn't want to actually see what the results were going to be. Um, but in our Stolen Heart one here, what I did was uh, just to make it so I could segregate the different things. You can see here I have max OL, max DB, max JSON, max XML, max text. So I have these, what is it, five? Yeah, I have these five types of things, and these are ways that people portray information, in the plot or something like that. So to try and make it so this will fire every time, I set the trigger on every one of them to be max, you, and your, because those almost always come up. But what you can see here, so this is max OL. This is ordered list, I guess is what I'm calling it. So as you can see, we have player name, colon, and then what it is, age, colon, 18 years, gender, colon, male. Technically, I guess that one doesn't need to be there. Height, colon, 5'6", so on and so forth. And then I just created one called description, and this has the tall, handsome, half long, wavy, dark hair, dark brown hair, hazel eyes, and a physically fit body. So I did this with the different types of formats. So that's just regular, that's just kind of an ordered list where you have the order that you're doing. That could also kind of be considered JSON, other than a lot of quotation marks and stuff like that. But that's what I call that. Then kind of a DB. This is kind of more along the lines of, say, a list in Python, or some kind of, uh, I guess more than DB would be array in different programming languages, like Java and stuff. So we have our bracket. We're saying this is a player. Oops, I don't want to move things. So we have player, colon, and then we have a bracket saying everything associated with this little array of data will be associated with this property of player. And then we have name equals max power. So as you can see, we're using more of the equals type things here. I'm gonna have to do that on quite a few of these, I think. I don't think it's gonna skew our results very much, but uh, I won't have to do it here because in JSON, which is, I don't know what JSON actually stands. I think something like Java. I don't think it's JavaScript. I don't know. But anyway, with that, it's kind of similar, but instead it's like we're saying player is going to be associated with, if I'm thinking Python, this is more like a set, or I think even in JavaScript, if I remember right, this is kind of a set. And then we have the name property will be associated with max powers. and then a comma. And so you can kind of see how we have that going all the way down. Now, here's one thing. This actually got me wondering as I was doing this format is, does escape characters work? And I don't know exactly how I can test that because, so a lot of times, if you don't know about it in programming, if you need to do a backslash, you would actually do a double backslash, and the first one escapes the second character so that it's not looked at as its actual property. So here we're saying a quote is considered a quotation mark, and this is saying it's a string, or the data within is kind of a string. So in this case right here, I didn't expect this to turn into any kind of lessons, but that right there is saying treat this quotation mark simply as a character. It's not a quotation mark saying this is the end of a string, or whatever types of terminology they might use. So escape characters, I don't know, to tell you the truth, if escape characters are even registered by the AI and if they actually do anything. So for this one, I did, just because I'm doing 5 foot 6 inches, but then I have a closing quotation mark. I don't want it to think it's 5 foot 6 and then there's just a spare quotation mark, which would end up causing an error. So I have that way. That was a really long explanation. I'm sorry. Then the XML format. This one I see a lot where you have kind of your XML type tags where you have your open tag and then you have your close tag. So here we're saying player name equals max powers, and this is everything associated. We have our open age, open gender, closed gender, height, description. So we're kind of doing the same thing with that. And this one, I don't think I have to worry about that extra quotation mark. Nope. And then the final one is just text, where you're just saying you're going to actually have additional text here because it has that you are, and max power is an 18-year-old, like the an 18-year-old wasn't in there. Another you are, kind of just sentence forms as far as that goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let it run. And then because we have the you, your, and max in all of these things, you'll see that your, well, that's the wrong your, terrible example, but here we have like an you. So we know that this is going to trigger a card, right? Because it's in all those cards. So hopefully, like I said, I haven't done this, so hopefully it actually triggers all those cards and we can actually look at them and see token wise exactly how the token is being pushed, and what is considered. Now, I did do a little bit of research on tokens, and I was thinking, it has to be words that it knows, but actually a token is a set of letters that it might know, and it can be anywhere. I think I was reading, I would say 1 to like 10ish or something like that. I think it actually said like 3 to 10 or something like that. Is how big your tokens are, but I could swear I've seen single tokens. I don't remember. Sorry. It's been a while since I looked at that. So as you can see, we don't have our view context, so we're definitely gonna have to hit continue at least once so we can get our view contents and context, and then we can actually look at this. Now, if you have a paid account, odds are this really isn't that big a deal. My next question, and hopefully someone out there might have an idea, is, do any of these formats actually make it work better for the AI? Does the AI actually understand better a list, a database format, a JSON format, XML format, or just regular text? It just reads it like text, like you or I would. So if we go in here, view context, okay, that's good news because we have a decent size of story cards. So 362 tokens. So here we can see, perfect, it looks like it got all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see the OL, the list, the ordered list is 43 tokens. The DB list in kind of the Python, no, the DB was the brackets. That's 46, so 3 bigger. JSON, 50 tokens. The XML actually comes in at the biggest. That's because your opening tag has to be the same as the closing tag with a forward slash uh, before it. So that's definitely going to be the biggest. And then we have just text being 37 tokens. So as you can see from this, at least with our example here, the text is definitely going to be our most efficient token wise to do that. So let's go look at our biggest one real quick, the XML, and we're going to do view text, and then we're going to switch over to token mode. And as you can see here, that actually brings up another interesting point. I wonder if I have multiple spaces, if that actually registers, because it looks like it's bundling. I don't see any token that's just a space. I see comma, then space have. Here I see space L. I don't know why. And then ONG. Well, I mean, that's two. So that answers the question about, and there's a single token. That answers that question for me. So that actually might be something to try. Maybe we'll do that with our, which one is this? This is the XML one, right? Yes. Maybe I'm going to try and stick in a couple extra spaces because I wonder, one, it could handle it like HTML. I mean, this is a web page where anything more than just a single space, it basically ignores. And then when it returns or whatever, it doesn't necessarily have any of that. The other one is that maybe it could stick more than one space in here. So maybe we'll stick like 3 spaces by name and run it real quick. So there you can see we have that one, which is our biggest one. Then we have this one, which is our shortest one. And you can see that, let's see if it does the, yeah, so space L, ONG. See, I would have thought long would have been just a single one. And obviously physically, I would think, so how many is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's our biggest one we've seen. Let's try that really quick. Let's go back in here. Let's go to our XML. And I'm just going to stick in like 2 spaces here maybe. So that's 3 total. Right here on 18-year-old, I'm going to stick an extra space. And then after the 5, 6, I'm going to stick in like 5 spaces. Let's see if that does anything different. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So it goes and reads those. Now, I guess actually, so I remember, if I remember right, the XML, I probably should have noted how big the XML was. You guys can rewind the video and tell how big it was and if those extra spaces actually add a lot more. So our XML 60 tokens, did that actually get smaller? I really don't know. Let's go view that real quick. Go to tokens. So yeah, here you can see the name is just passing space name. So it's not even passing the other spaces. Maybe it didn't get bigger. The 5, 6 did actually pass a new space. I thought it was like 58 or something like that. Where else did I do it? I did the 5, 6, and then I did, here I stuck 3 between 18 and year old. So it looks like, yes, it is actually kind of doing what standard HTML does and just omits any extra spaces. It only keeps at least 1. Here we actually have the carriage return. Actually, it looks like we have a space, the carriage return, a space, and a, what is that, the less than sign. So that's kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure it was 58. So we added 2 tokens, which makes sense because that was the token. I mean, you can definitely see it here. We have the 18-year-old. It added, no, it didn't add it there. Where did it add an extra? So we know it added 1 here because this used to be flush right up to there. 18-year-old had a single space, and this one had a single space. So we have a single space there. We have that there. So the only one that's actually added would be this space right here. But wasn't that its own token before, just like this guy is? And that's a token. Do we have any that's just the little bracket? Most of them are a carriage return. Oh, actually, no, it'd be the closed one. Yeah, so there you can see it's a single. So, all right. So as far as trying to keep everything uh best for the system or best for token usage, it does look like just plain text is definitely our winner there because it was considerably smaller. I think from what was it, 30 to like, oh, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Wasn't it like 30? What am I doing? 38, I think it was. All right, let's go look real quick. So text, 37 tokens, and the next smallest was the 43, which was the list, and then by the database format after that. So I mean it's considerably less than this one, 37. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 tokens less. Which I guess when you're really counting your tokens, that's important. I mean, how many tokens have we used on this thing? We've used quite a few, I'm sure. I keep opening it back up. So we haven't actually forgotten anything. I don't know how many actions we've actually had. We're using 2 memories are being stored, which are probably these ones right here, 2 of the 25. 1 memory is being used, which would be this one. Do we get a breakdown of that? So here's our memories. Actually, we do get a breakdown. So this is the memories that were stored, 64 tokens worth. So it's not going to know that we asked her about sugar anymore. And then the reused memory was talking about cake. Is it cake? So yeah, there we go. So the other thing I wanted to point out, so I've been also playing with where you enable the memory and also the if you enable the story summary. And I would highly recommend if you're on a free account, do not enable that one because it actually gets pretty big from what I've seen. Um, Now, this doesn't mean you can't use a story summary. This just is the auto summarization. If you want to kind of keep a story summary, like if you're going through your adventure and all of a sudden it forgot something that was key from a long time ago because now it's a lost memory, you can actually come in here, go to story summary, and then just add as short as you can that information, and then anytime you update it, it will actually pass this along with it as well. Yes, it is going to start using tokens, so you definitely want to be careful there, but all in all it does seem to uh, be a better way to do that, not have an auto do it. I have a scenario where like the story summary is just giant and it's actually going through and trimming it down, trying to clean it up, and it's constantly updating it, but it lets it get pretty big before it actually does that. Um, and by the way, I was going to say, I have been very, if you've tried these, where I said sentence enclosed by the little tilde and then quote and then and then the quote and then tilde. This has been working so good for me, where I can actually, you know, have my character have thoughts about what's going on in the scene and stuff. The AI doesn't always, the AI does act off of it. Like if say I wonder what would happen if I punch them in the face, it might the AI might end up saying you think about punching someone in the face and that might be a bad idea or something like that, but the actual characters don't know. This part right here saying the NPCs have no knowledge as to what the player is thinking. That does work. And then this one also seems to work really well too, where if I say I'm texting or something like that, the player, the other characters in the scene, they don't know. They always have to look over your shoulder to see what you're typing and stuff. So I'm very pleased with how these things have turned out, and even the verbiage seems to work really well. And I pretty much add these in every single scenario I have. I did mention that I had a special one for when I was talking to my AI. Remember, we have, I don't think I have those. That's in, let's see. We're out of time. I think I had it in here. I showed you guys a little bit about Nexi or whatever it was, my AI that I said I developed. No, this just has the penthouse and stuff. But did I actually have it down in here? No. I can show you it here real quick. Let me just go pull up my author. Actually, I'll just paste it in there so you can see it. So this is one that I use when I'm communicating with my AI so that whether I'm talking through an earbud, talking out loud, that way I don't have to constantly say the AI's name, although I usually do anyway, just so it triggers the card as well. But it always knows that I'm talking about it. And usually, so as you can see here, sentences enclosed by the at symbol and then quotes and the at symbol are to be treated as communication or communicating directly to your personal AI system by phone, tablet, console, computer, laptop, or via an earbud like in your ear. This one also seems to work really well. Been very pleased with that as well. I was thinking about going and actually testing other things. I know you can't use the hashtag or the octothorpe or pound sign, whatever you want to call it. You can't start a sentence or an action with that. It will cause an error. Um, but I bet there's other ones we could use, maybe like the dollar sign. Wonder if percent sign, usually percent has other meanings. But it'd be interesting. I think the asterisk doesn't work as well. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Actually, it was the asterisk that I tried. I don't think I've tried the hash, but I do know in some of these things in an AI, it says you're forbidden to generate hashes. And I think it actually uses those as commands. So that one's probably one you want to stay away from too. Okay, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Join my Discord channel. Tell other people about my channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel. Everybody wins. And I just remembered one other thing. Sorry. So one other thing is it looks like they've gotten rid of their adventure tier. So now you have the free tier. You have the champion tier, which is $14.99. They used to have the $9.99 tier. Then they have the legend tier, and then they have the stupid expensive one, which is $50 for the mythic tier. Now, this used to be 8K for the token context. I think this one might have been 4K, and this one maybe the 16K. So they've upped everything, and it has something to do with their new thing. I think it's called Voyage. It used to be called Hero. But it's almost like you're sitting down playing Dungeons and Dragons at a table with AI, which is really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out as well. The free one, I think it's always been 2K. That did not go up. But now the 14, the 999 tier is now gone. They just have the 1429 and the 49. Um, and obviously you can see what you get in those. So that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.